where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made you sad from the previous week or weeks. Sorry, we've been away for a little bit, not too long though, but there was some stuff we left out and some stuff we wanted to let settle, like the conference championship, so we can get to the finals in two different sports. We had a huge game last night in Oklahoma City in which Oklahoma City faltered. And it's kind of interesting if you think about it and you see that America kicked Canada out of two different finals. Now, we can graze right over the fact that that means France got it. And I'm talking about by way of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander being eliminated with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I'm talking about, of course, Victor Wembanyama making it in by way of the Spurs defeating the Thunder. Now, I did not see that happening. As you all know, I was ride for the Thunder throughout this playoff race. But I also gave Chet Holmgren a little bit more credit than he was probably due. Okay? Chet Holmgren, throughout this entire series, got punked. And it was tough to watch, to be fair. It was something that I didn't think was going to happen with Chet. I thought he would step up, and he never did. He never did rise up to the level of Wembanyama and what Wembanyama was able to do. In fact, in Game 7, Chet Holmgren retreated, like totally retreated after the tip. Chet Holmgren was nowhere to be found, except for on a poster after Wembanyama dunked on him. And that's saying a lot. It's sad because Chet has a ton of upside, but apparently there's no fortitude there to take on a challenge like Victor Wembanyama presents. Now, granted, Victor Wembanyama's game is significantly better than Chet Holmgren's, but I don't know, as a competitor, as an athlete, you would expect someone to step up and actually like have some pride and not want to lose miserably, not want to halt your team from having back-to-back championships. You are the 7-footer on the Oklahoma City Thunder. You were the high draft pick as far as that center position is concerned. They expect you to go out there and to compete, Chet, and instead you disappeared. Now, when I say they eliminated Canada by way of Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, he kind of showed up, but not to the extent that you would think that a two-time MVP would. All right. You know everything's on the line. You know you need to show up. You know that there is something that needs to come from you being the pro on your team and being the one that everybody is looking at to make sure that your team will not be eliminated and not have a chance. You're the two-time MVP. You are this season's MVP over the guy you're competing against. And you presented not very many problems for the San Antonio Spurs. Now, the San Antonio Spurs are often conflated to be a one-man team in Victor Wembanyama, and that's simply not true. Victor Wembanyama is a plus as far as the Thunder are concerned. A very big plus. He is their best player, and he will be one of the greats, it looks like, if he could stay healthy. But that team is put together well. Not quite as well as the Oklahoma City Thunder, but the team is good. And it's pretty shocking that the Oklahoma City Thunder didn't see that. Like, that is a solid Spurs team that just needed all the pieces to start to gel so that they could make a run. And this run happened a little bit early, in my opinion. I thought it was too early. I thought Oklahoma City Thunder had been through more, seen more. But there is a force of will with this San Antonio Spurs team. And it's exciting to watch. They're going to push teams to the limit. But I do need to know one thing, all right? We all that grew up watching NBA in the 80s and 90s know that it is a badge of honor to go to big man as a shooting guard, as a small forward, as a point guard. It's a badge of honor to go right at that person. So much so that we saw Bradley's career ended essentially by a dunk right in his face. And that is typically what we see when there's a giant on the court. You typically see players that want to go right at him, show something, right? Say, hey, I'm not scared of you. I'm going to go right at you. I'm going to dunk on your head. And we don't have those players anymore. Maybe Anthony Edwards, but that's about it. There aren't any other players like that are going to go dunk on someone's head. I don't see that killer instinct anymore that we had in the Kobe Bryants, in the Vince Carters, in the Michael Jordans. You don't see that. I'm going for exactly what's going to take this person out. And I don't know why. I don't know what's going on with this generation. And I don't want to say they lack toughness. It's just, it's the killer instinct. Okay. That we need to see from athletes that want it, right? They're not just going to talk about it. They want it. They seek it out. They seek out that challenge, that 7'5" center in Wembenyama. And they say, I'm going to go right at you. Block my shot if you can, but I'm going to destroy you. I am a heat-seeking missile, and I'm seeking that basket, and I'm going to go directly at you and dunk on your head. And I just don't see enough of that right now, especially with Victor Wembanyama. I know he's an athlete. I know he's a freak. I know, as Nike put it so eloquently, he is an alien. But it is ridiculous to see no attempts at a poster. Like, let him block your shot, because the adverse of that is you dunk directly on his head and you are a legend forever. Just ask Vince Carter. Just ask Kobe Bryant. You are a legend. You will live forever if you manage to dunk on one of these Giants' heads, especially one that has put up the metrics that Victor Wembanyama has. Now, maybe it's not that NBA anymore, but it should be, because that's how you take this giant down a notch. You go directly at him and you dunk on his head. Enough of this finesse game. It's time for the grit and grind game. Yeah, Victor Wembanyama threw an elbow. Good. He's up for the fight. At least someone is. He's ready to say, oh, they're hitting me, they're bullying me inside. Good. At least someone is. The Timberwolves brought that fight to them, where the Oklahoma City Thunder, I mean, they did a few dirty things, but really it's like, we're going to out finesse you. No. Beat them. Mighty Ducks 3. If you can't beat them. And not enough people are going at Victor Wembanyama like that, and it shows, because that young man has his run of the court. He is doing whatever he wants on almost every single night that he is on the floor. And if you continue to give Victor Wembanyama that advantage, he will take it, and he will win all the championships. He has to be stopped, and stopping him is going to take blunt force trauma right at the rim with him guarding. As far as the New York Knicks are concerned, we haven't talked about them because they made quick work of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So there really hasn't been a need to talk about the New York Knicks until now. So on this challenge, I don't know what they have to go at Victor Wembanyama with as far as the defensive side of the ball. But there is something about this grit and grind, raw Knicks team that is appealing to a lot of people. And again, they're going to be a major underdog going into this game. Major underdog. And they perform well in that role. They perform well as the underdog. Jalen Brunson is the eternal underdog. He's the smallest guy on the court, and he has got the grit. He has got that toughness that everybody wants to see coming from their star player. Karl Anthony Towns may present some issues. Maybe he'll have more pride than Chet Holmgren. But what I want to see is, like I said earlier, I would want to see this New York Knicks team, get dirty with it, get grimy with it, drag the game into the mud. It won't be as fun to watch, but that's how they're going to win a championship against this Spurs team. And they've shown that they can do it. They're healthier than the San Antonio Spurs, and it's time to play a little bit of bully ball. It's time to use those fouls that you have. You've got fouls, use them. Bully them a little bit. Make them think about it. That's what we used to say. Make him think about it. Make him think about coming at you. Make him think about going inside. All right? Scare him. It's like a safety when you're covering the field. You can, go for the ball, be a ball hawk, or you can go at those wide receivers so hard that they think twice about sticking out their arms and catching that football. That's what you need to start doing to Wembanyama. You need to bully him, make him think twice about being inside. All right? You need to be on top of him the second he crosses that half-court line. I would love to see this out of the New York Knicks, and I think that this is a team that can do that. This is a team that wants to embody toughness. This is a team that wants to put their city on their back and take it all the way, winning their first championship since, the 60s? All right? It's time for this to happen, and it's time for the Spurs to get this easy ride, this slip and slide, canceled. I think it's going to be a tough series. I'm not ready to predict a winner yet. Maybe next episode after I've seen a game. That is soft on my part after asking them to go hard. You know what? I'm going to say Knicks. I think the Knicks win the NBA championship. I'm going to take the long shots in this. I don't fully believe in the San Antonio Spurs yet. I think this team is gritty in the Knicks, and I think that the Knicks are going to push them. They're going to bully them. They're going to make them uncomfortable, and in doing that, they're going to take away that finesse option that the Spurs have had given to them. So that's what we're hoping for. That's what we think we're going to see in the NBA Finals. Now, in the NHL Finals, I said earlier, America loves knocking the Canadians out of these finals. And that's exactly what the Carolina Hurricanes did. They knocked out the Montreal Canadiens, one of the original 6 teams, directly out of the contention for the finals. Okay, and it was crazy. They beat them so badly. Like, yeah, game 1 happened, and then it didn't. It was over almost right after it started because Montreal definitely put up a fight in that first game. But after that, Carolina took it to them. Yeah, there were a couple of overtime games, but Carolina really set out to prove that this is not a contest. And when you win a series 4-1, it's not. Despite how those games went, it's not a contest. All right. There is one team that is clearly better than the other, and it was the Carolina Hurricanes. And on the other side, we did have a sweep. It was weird. I'm talking about Oklahoma City and a lack of pride there. And you hate to talk about hockey players, one of the toughest sports, some of the toughest dudes on earth, and saying, where is the pride here? Granted, they had some injuries, but the Colorado Avalanche were the best team all year, and they were the best team in these playoffs. And Las Vegas Knights were not. Like I said last episode, Las Vegas Knights went into these playoffs with a losing record. All right. They hired their coach, John Tortorella, mid-season, and here we are. They are in the finals. John Tortorella is in the finals, and it's perplexing. They're playing with house money at this point, and I'd love to see the Las Vegas Knights win a Stanley Cup here because I don't want to see Carolina do it. I'm not a huge fan of the way Carolina plays ball. I'm not a huge fan plays ball. I'm not a huge fan of Carolina's game, but I just am also not a fan of the owner, and I don't want to see him rewarded. You want it for the players, but I don't want to see a billionaire that is choosing to be extra cheap, not put in the effort, put in the money, put in the financial backing for the players to have things, amenities that are special and exclusive to professional athletes. I don't like that. I don't like cutting corners. I don't like nickel and diming when you're a billionaire. This is a sport where most of it is expenses that go against your income anyway. So pay more. Stop being so cheap, especially as it pertains to the Portland Trailblazers and what has gone on there. So after saying all that, I'm really rooting for the Vegas Golden Knights here. Like I said, they're playing with house money, and it's going to be a fun series. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be fun to watch what Tortorella does with his lineup. What this team is talented. The Vegas Knights do not want for talent. It's actually pretty crazy or insane what has happened to them this season and having that losing record. But this team does not hurt for talent. This is a talented Golden Knights team. And Las Vegas puts on a show, and you are sure to see a show while they're in these NHL finals. And I'm hoping that that show takes them all the way to the championship. Let's see if Las Vegas can get it done, and let's see if the New York Knicks can get it done in this time of 2 finals. It's amazing. It's going to be a blast. I think we're all excited to see what comes next. Now, what's interesting right now in the NFL is Tua Tagovailoa cannot stop putting his foot in his mouth. Now, granted, this time it wasn't so bad. He said the NFL is his second job and his first job is being a father. I think that's fine. I think that we're making a big deal out of nothing. But the problem with it is when you're Tua Tagovailoa and you're already seen as somebody that didn't put football first, that didn't take his NFL career seriously in Miami, that didn't do what he could in Miami to propel that team to the next level, that said some very questionable things at the end of his run in Miami. It's just not something you can do as a quarterback, right? The team and the fans and the media have to believe that the Atlanta Falcons and NFL football is your number one priority. Nobody's ignorant to it. Everybody knows your number one priority is your family, but you don't go out and say that. Again, one, because of how you're already being perceived by the public, by the media, and 2, because you're job is to go out there and reinforce, hey, we're here to win. I'm here to win. We're in this building to win. This is my main priority. My main priority is bringing the Atlanta Falcons, it's going to sound funny, a Super Bowl. All right. I couldn't help but laugh the second it came out of my mouth. But that's what you have to say. It may not be true, but those are the words that need to come out of the quarterback's mouth as he gets ready to go in to a new team's locker room and he's already the decided starter. You've got to be somebody that they think is in it as far and as deep as they are. And if you do not say that, if you are not that person, they will turn on you in a second. And of course, we had drama out of New York as it pertained to Jackson Dart and Abdul Carter. Jackson Dart did what he did. We don't have to talk about it. It was stupid. He's stupid, and I hate when they fall back on the military as a veteran. But God, they that's the go-to. They play, well, my family has a military. Shut up, dude. You made a mistake. You endorsed a candidate. It wasn't I endorsed the office of the president. You didn't do it. You endorsed a president that has presented a lot of beliefs that are counter to a majority of your locker room. You're allowed to believe what you want to believe. You're allowed to support who you want to support. But again, just like the Tua Tagovailoa situation, you have to understand that you were in a locker room. Both of them issued statements following these events. And I have to say, Abdul Carter went out there and he looked intelligent. He was well spoken on the topic. And Jackson Dart was not. Jackson Dart did not look like a leader, whereas Carter did. Carter went out there and absolutely looked like the leader of his defense or like somebody that is going to want to be the leader on his defense. Jackson Dart went out there and read a script, hoped for no more questions, and just trying to move on with his life. You put yourself in this mess, Jackson Dart. Now you got to clean it up. You got to deal with the consequences of your actions, regardless of how you feel. It doesn't matter. You're guilty in a court of perception, and the perception isn't good on Jackson Dart right now. Sadly, we had the passing of Claude Lemieux, and it was by suicide. And this comes on the heels of Dana White of the UFC, going on a podcast and making some statements about men's mental health that were ignorant, misguided, and unintelligent. And that tends to be all he does lately. Is he goes out and he makes statements that are not intelligent, misguided, and they shouldn't be said by the leader of a sports organization. And he's the leader of the UFC, a major sports organization, a sport that many tune in for, and a sport that suffers from a lot of things like mental health challenges. And when he did that, he was basically sending a message to the fighters in his state that he doesn't want to hear about it. He's not going to deal with it, and he thinks you are less than. And that is pathetic from Dana White, the leader of a sports organization, because if Dana White was intelligent, he would look at some of the metrics on young people between the ages of 18 to 25 and see what is happening and not lean into what is already a terrible stereotype and create more of a stigma as it pertains to seeking help. If you are going through something that could lead you to taking your own life like Claude Lemieux did, we need to encourage people to go get help. We need to encourage people to understand that it is okay, that everybody goes through things. And if you are going through something, it is so much more valuable for you to go seek help than it is to do anything else. If you're going through something, there are so many free outlets for you to turn to. If you're having a mental health crisis, that can help you, that can talk to you, that can find you the resources that you need to get through what you're going through, because it is perfectly normal in every single person, no matter their sex, no matter their ethnicity, no matter their background, to go through something that can cause a mental health struggle. And it's important that leaders don't take the stance of Dana White. It's important that leaders take a stance that supports these people and helps them through these times, so that way we don't have a situation like we have with Claude Lemieux. Now, it's sad to end on that note, but I think that that's a valuable lesson that we can all take from. Be careful what you say, because you never know what's right around the next corner. Thank you so much for joining us each and every week here on The Sad Fan, and we will see you next time.